What's up, everybody? In today's lesson, we're going to go through some protein-based foods and talk through some considerations when looking at the nutritional labels. So here's our list. We're going to look at those nutritional labels. We're going to identify what the serving size is, scan for calories, fats, carbs, and proteins per serving. And I want you to start making a connection between that fat to protein ratio. Low fat's going to be 1 to 5 grams of fat, moderate 6 to 11, high fat 12 to 16, very high fat is going to be above 16 grams. We're also going to go through some plant-based options and things to consider when looking at the plant-based stuff, because typically the fats and carbs or fuel calories are a little bit higher in plant-based proteins. Okay, so we got a lot to cover today. We're going to go through a bunch of different food products: eggs, beef, poultry, canned goods, fish, powders, nut butters. We got a lot. We're going to take a look at all these nutritional labels. So we're going to get things kicked off with some eggs. Now these are jumbo eggs, and it looks like one egg is 90 calories, 6 grams of fat, and 8 grams of protein. So we're in our kind of moderate fat category. Egg whites, on the other hand, are very low fat, higher in protein. So not a bad idea to mix the two together so you get a little bit of the taste from the egg and a higher protein boost with the egg whites. So next up, this is a leaner cut of steak. We're looking at a top sirloin, 6 grams of fat, 24 grams of protein. Not a bad ratio here. Now, if you're doing things like a ribeye or a New York strip, the fat content is going to be way off the charts. It's going to be up in your 20 grams per serving. So this is a nice alternative, low fat, high protein. So let's take a look at this ground beef. This is an 85-15 right here. That means 85% lean, 15% fat. This is a much higher fat content, 17 grams of fat per serving, 21 grams of protein. The taste is probably going to taste amazing, but again, we're getting a lot of calories from fat here. About 150 of those calories are coming from fat. So here's another great option here from Trader Joe's. This is a 96-4, so we're looking at 4 grams of fat per serving, 21 grams of protein. Great ratios here. That less fat means a lot less calories per serving here too. So we're down to 130 calories. So another ground meat option here is venison. So venison is in that moderate fat category. We got about 10 grams of fat per serving, 23 grams of protein. Not too bad, great tasting, that moderate category without having too much calories. And then we've also got ground elk here. So ground elk is a little bit leaner at 5 grams of fat and 26 grams of protein. One trick I've used is combining a fattier and leaner cut of meat together to enhance the taste but also boost the protein. So here's a super lean option. You got your pork tenderloin. We're looking at 2.5 grams of fat per serving for 24 grams of protein. Great option, low calorie. Another one would be ground turkey. So we have 93.7 ground turkey, which is a little bit higher. We got in that moderate fat category. And we also have a lean ground turkey, 99.1, which is 1 gram of fat for 26 grams of protein. Again, you can mix these two together. So let's take a look at a burger here. So when they say the standard American diet and people are high in protein, well, we're also high in fat. So this is an 85-15 burger patty here. We're going to take a look at this. This is about 330 calories per patty, 23 grams of fat. Very high for 30 grams of protein. Not a great ratio. You're getting about 200 calories from fat. So if you're going to have something like this, I would have it like once a week, once every 2 weeks. Again, this is a lot of fat per protein, and the ratio isn't great for a day-to-day item. So here we are looking at some chicken thighs. We're in the moderate fat ratio, so a little bit more flavorful than something like a chicken breast. We're about 8 grams of fat, 22 grams of protein, relatively cheap to purchase, and not a bad option to combine with some chicken breast, which we're going to look at now. Chicken breast is about 3 grams of fat, so we got about 5 grams less per serving, 25 grams of protein, so very lean cut of meat here. Now, with chicken breast can get kind of bland or dry, so we're going to show you some cooking tips throughout this challenge on how to make it a little more flavorful. So Chilean sea bass, just to kind of show you in the fish category, we're looking at 270 calories, 20 grams of fat for 16 grams of protein. Not a great ratio here, right? This is something we might want to do sparingly, like once a week, kind of like those burgers. Now, another alternative would be halibut. Halibut is a much leaner fish. Now, this is for one fillet, which I'm guessing is about 7 ounces. We're looking at about 2.5 grams of fat, 37 grams of protein. So very great ratio here, great day-to-day option. Mahi-mahi is another option here. This is a little bit cheaper than the halibut. Halibut is much more expensive per pound. 1 gram of fat, 21 grams of protein for the mahi-mahi, 95 calories. So great trade-off here. Low calorie, high protein. So next up, let's take a look at some canned goods. We got some canned chicken. I get this from Costco. Nice to have on hand when you're in a pinch so you don't have to cook anything. This is about 120 calories per serving, 2 grams of fat, 26 grams of protein. Now the serving size is 2 ounces here. I just kind of doubled that to 4. Alternatively, you got your white tuna, another low fat, high protein option, 1.5 grams of fat, 42 grams of protein per can. Again, both of these are nice to have on hand when you're in a pinch or you don't have time to cook. Now ideally we're going to get most of our protein from whole foods, but when you don't have the ability to prepare, protein powders are a nice option. So this is a whey protein powder, 100 calories, 1 gram of fat, very low in carbs, and 21 grams of protein. So not a bad ratio. You can mix this with different things like veggies or fruits to kind of improve the flavor or taste. Now alternatively, here's a vegan protein or a vegetarian-based protein. Now you'll notice that the fat content and the carb content is a little bit higher based on the protein. So we got another kind of thing to consider when we're looking at our plant-based products. Here's some plant-based sausage. Again, to make things a little bit more flavorful, what happens is they boost the calories up by adding a little bit more fat and carbs to this. So we're looking at 270 calories for a link of sausage, 15 grams of fat. So now we're into that like high fat category, a little bit of carbs mixed in there to make that protein taste a little bit better. So not terrible, but you just want to kind of keep an eye on that. Now let's take a look at some lentils. So people will say you can get protein from beans and stuff. Now just so you need to get a quarter cup dry is 180 calories. This, instead of having a high fat, we're gonna have a little bit higher carbs. So we're looking at 30 grams of carbs per serving for 13 grams of protein. Not terrible, but just something to consider when you're trying to get 100 grams of protein in, you're gonna have to eat a lot of beans. Now here we are looking at some black beans, another alternative very similar to lentils. You're looking at about like 11 grams of protein for 31 grams of carbs. Now here's peanut butter. Peanut butter has also been known to be a source of protein, but we're only looking at 8 grams of protein and very high fat, 16 grams of fat here, 190 calories for 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. Now one option that we've seen to have a little better ratio is PB2. So PB2 is, they dried it up and made it into a powder form. They removed the fat or reduced the fat down to 1.5 grams of fat per serving. Carbs are a little higher with 5 grams and 5 grams of protein per serving. So not a bad swap here. Now you can kind of see the two of these things side by side. You're looking at a big calorie difference between the PB2 and the peanut butter. 190 calories for 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 50 calories for 2 tablespoons of PB2. So that's all I got for you today. I want you to just start taking a look at those nutritional labels, identify those serving size, scanning for calories, fats, carbs, and take a look at those ratios. I want you to kind of be a little bit more aware as you're looking at these foods.